George Strait, one of the greatest legends of American country music. He is not only an iconic singer, an artist with millions of albums sold, but also a man who has experienced many pains, many great challenges in life. Behind the halo of one of the greatest singers in the history of country music is a life story full of loss, a journey full of tears and sacrifice. George Strait not only sings about the sadness in life, but he also lives through those sadnesses, experiencing them in ways that no one can imagine. George Strait's life has not always been peaceful. There are moments when he stands at the peak of his career, loved by millions of people. But there are also days when he is immersed in the pain of loss, facing the greatest tragedy of his life that no amount of fame can compensate for. If there was one great pain in George Strait's life, it was the tragic death of his daughter, Jennifer Strait. In 1986, when George Strait was at the peak of his career, his life suddenly fell into an abyss that he never expected. Jennifer Strait, his only daughter with Norma Strait, passed away in a tragic car accident when she was only 13 years old. No father can prepare for the pain of losing a child. No star, no matter how strong, can overcome it easily. George Strait was completely devastated after his daughter's death. To him, Jennifer was not only his daughter, but also his light, his pride, his reason to continue trying every day. And yet, in just one moment, everything disappeared. After that tragedy, George Strait almost disappeared from the media. He refused all interviews, not wanting to talk about this pain in public. Instead, he chose to hide the pain in music, letting the melodies speak for him what his heart could not say. His songs from then on became more calm, more emotional, because they came from a real pain, a wound that never healed in his heart. Losing a child is a pain that no parent wants to experience, and even though many years have passed, George Strait still carries the memory of Jennifer with him. He never forgot her. He never let that pain leave his soul, because, when he lost his daughter, a part of George Strait was gone forever. George Strait is not a lucky star who became successful overnight. He was born and raised in Texas, where country music was not just a genre, but a part of the soul of the people here. But no one expected that young George Strait would become a legend, a person who changed the whole country music scene in America. He started his singing career in the 1970s when he was a college student. He formed a band and started performing in small bars, local fairs, places where the audience did not care much about who was on stage. But he did not give up. He believed in his music. He knew that as long as he persevered, one day his opportunity would come. And then, in 1981, his first album, Straight Country, was released and became a phenomenon. His first single, Unwound, quickly climbed the charts and brought George Strait to the public. Since then, his career has continued to grow. He was not just a singer, but also a person who changed country music, bringing a rustic, honest, and emotional style. His songs such as Amarillo by Morning, The Chair, Check Yes or No, all became immortal hits. But things were not always easy. Throughout his career, George Strait had to face failures, difficult times, times when he felt like giving up. In the 1990s, country music began to change, and many people thought that George Strait would be forgotten. But he did not let that happen. He continued to sing, continued to create, continued to contribute. And then, time proved that George Strait was not just a star, but a monument, an irreplaceable icon. He has won over 60 music awards, sold over 100 million albums, and had over 60 #1 songs. A record that very few artists can achieve. But most importantly, he has always maintained his own style, not following trends, not changing just to suit the taste. Because, for George Strait, music is not about following the crowd, but about touching people's hearts, and that is what makes him a true legend. George Strait is more than just a successful country artist. He is an icon, a living monument of this music. Each of his melodies, each of his songs not only resonate on the charts, but also deeply imprinted in the hearts of millions of fans. The success that George Strait has achieved does not only come from innate talent, but also the result of a relentless journey, a persistent perseverance, and a strong love for music. No one can deny that George Strait is a legend. But becoming a legend is not an easy thing. To achieve the position he has today, he had to go through the days when no one remembered his name, used to sing in small bars where no one cared, used to hold an old guitar and sing with all his heart, just hoping that someone would listen. When George Strait first entered the music scene, the country music market was gradually changing. The classic sounds were overshadowed by more modern styles. Traditional melodies were no longer as popular as before. But he did not change, did not follow trends, did not try to become a popular artist just to be famous. He believed that true country music could still touch people's hearts if it was expressed with all his soul. In 1981, his first album, Straight Country, was released. It was not only an important milestone, but also an affirmation that country music was still alive. The song Unwound quickly became a big hit, entered the charts, and opened the door for George Strait to step into the path of a real star. But he did not stop there. He did not just want to have a successful song, but to create a great career, a legacy that people would remember forever. Each album, each song that he released after that, was warmly received by the audience. Gentle ballads like Amarillo by Morning, The Chair, Check Yes or No not only conquered the charts, but also became classic songs, loved by many generations. It can be said that George Strait's music is not just music, but also stories, true emotions that everyone can find themselves in. But every journey has its difficulties. There was a time when George Strait felt his career was facing challenges. When modern country music became popular in the 1990s, many people thought that George Strait belonged to the past. They said that an artist loyal to the traditional style could not last long, that he needed to change to suit the audience's taste. But George Strait did not change. He continued to sing his own way, continued to be loyal to the music he loved, continued to bring songs imbued with the traditional country spirit. And time has proven that he was right. No matter how the music trends change, George Strait stands firm. He not only continues to be successful, but he also redefines what it means to be a true country artist. More than 60 of his songs have topped the charts, a number that no other artist has been able to surpass. He has won dozens of prestigious awards, including 22 from the Country Music Association, CMA, 13 from the Academy of Country Music, ACM, and a Grammy. He has sold more than 100 million albums worldwide, making him the best-selling country artist of all time. But perhaps George Strait's greatest achievement lies not in the numbers, but in the love and respect of his audience. He is not simply a singer, but a part of the lives of the American people, a voice that has accompanied them through the ups and downs of life. When they are happy, they listen to George Strait's music. When they are sad, they come to him. And that is something no award can compare to. Behind George Strait's illustrious career is an admirable love, a love that he devoted to one person only, Norma Strait. George and Norma met when they were high school students in Texas. Their love was not noisy, not full of scandals like other stars. It was a simple, sincere love, growing up with the years and still lasting despite time. In 1971, they got married, starting a new journey, not only as husband and wife, but also as companions in every moment of life. But no matter how beautiful their love was, their life could not avoid pain. In 1986, the death of Jennifer Strait caused their whole world to collapse. Norma and George had to go through the pain that no parent could bear. They used to have a happy family, once thought they had it all. But in one night, everything changed. George was devastated, but Norma was no better. They had to pick each other up from the pain, had to learn to live with the loss every day. They could never forget Jennifer, but they understood that they still had a family to hold on to. George continued his career, but not the same. He no longer gave many interviews, no longer shared much about his personal life, no longer appeared in the media as much as before. Because he learned one thing: there are pains that don't need to be spoken, but they will forever remain in the heart. Norma Strait never blamed her husband for spending so much time on music. She understood that it was a part of him, that music was what helped him survive the loss. But she also understood that no matter how many stages he stood on, how many songs he sang, when he came home, he was still a man with a wound in his heart that would never heal. Their love was not perfect, but it was strong enough to overcome the storms. No matter how much loss, how much pain, they always chose to stay together, lean on each other, and live together. And perhaps that was what helped George Strait never lose himself. A love that never changed, no matter what happened. George Strait is not only a legendary country artist, but also one of the richest and most successful singers in American music history. With over 100 million albums sold, countless sold-out,